It's no longer news that Israel and Iran went neck to neck for nearly 2 weeks in June 2025, launching bombs, missiles, and all whatnot on each other. Lives were lost, properties worth millions, if not billions of dollars destroyed, accusations and counter-accusations, relationships further strained. Yeah, but that's not the focus for today. Today, we're asking, why did the United States under Donald Trump attack Iran? Why did they bomb Iran? Do not forget that the United States claimed to be peacemakers in the Israel and Iran conflict. Now let's see.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime.
On June 21st, 2025, the world watched as a new chapter in the volatile relationship between the United States and Iran was written. Under the command of President Donald Trump, the United States launched precision strikes against 3 critical Iranian nuclear facilities: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. This wasn't a sudden, isolated event, but the combination of years of escalating rhetoric, accusations, and a deep-seated distrust. So, what was the real reason Donald Trump bombed Iran? Let's further break it down item by item. The reason number 1 is the accusation that Iran poses a nuclear threat and that they've crossed the red line. Now, for decades, Iran's nuclear program has been a source of immense international concern. While Tehran consistently maintained its program was of peaceful energy generation, the US, Israel, and many Western allies harbored deep suspicions that Iran sought to develop a nuclear weapon. From the moment he withdrew the US, that is Donald Trump, from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA) or the Iranian nuclear deal in 2018, President Trump made it clear that he believed the deal was flawed and did not efficiently prevent Iran from obtaining a bomb. He often stated, as he did in an address to the nation following the strikes, that the objective was to stop the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. That is the category where Iran is placed. Now, why the US intelligence community, including Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, had historically assessed that Iran was not actively pursuing a nuclear weapon. This contrasted sharply with the alarm raised by Israeli leaders. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had long argued that Iran was on the verge of acquiring a nuclear weapon, even before the strikes. After the recent attacks, the Israel Atomic Energy Commission (IAEC) claimed the strikes had set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons by many years. That's the first reason. Now let's take reason number 2. The strikes would serve as deterrence and response to escalation. Now, beyond the nuclear program itself, the Trump administration framed the strikes as a necessary act of deterrence and a response to what they perceived as ongoing Iranian aggression. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth echoed President Trump's justification, stating the operation was authorized for the collective self-defense of their troops and their ally Israel. The US has approximately 40,000 military personnel stationed across the Middle East, and any perceived threat to them or regional allies like Israel was a significant factor. These strikes occurred amidst the period of intense conflict between Israel and Iran, which had seen Israel conducting its own strikes on Iranian facilities and military commanders. Just days before the US intervention, Iran had launched missiles against the largest US military base in the Middle East, Qatar's Al Udeid Air Base. Though all missiles were intercepted, even if there's an argument of 1 or 2 slipping through and hitting the US facility. This tit-for-tat escalation was a critical backdrop to the US decision. The US reportedly provided advance warning of the strikes to Iran via third parties. aiming for limited in scope and purpose attacks, as President Trump described them, to minimize casualties, deter future attacks, and limit the risk of escalation. The reason number 3 from our analysis is the obliteration of Iran's nuclear program, even though this claim is still under scrutiny. President Trump wasted no time in declaring the strikes a spectacular military success, claiming they had completely and fully obliterated Iran's nuclear program. According to Pentagon officials like Major General Kane, US stealth B-2 bombers dropped 12 GBU-57 bunker buster bombs on Fordo, a heavily fortified underground facility, and 2 more on Natanz. These 30,000-pound bombs are designed to penetrate deep into hardened targets. However, early US intelligence assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency (DIA) suggested a more modest impact, indicating Iran's nuclear program had been set back by only a few months, not years, and that some enriched uranium and centrifuges might have been moved or remained intact. This led to a public disagreement between President Trump and his own intelligence community, with Trump dismissing the DIA's findings as inconclusive and accusing media outlets of being scum for reporting on them. While Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Lisa Maibergai considered that their nuclear installations have been badly damaged, and that's for sure, he refused to go into detail. Rafael Grossi, the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA), also confirmed very considerable damage to the Iranian site, though he stopped short of using Trump's obliterated term. Iran's supreme leader, on the other hand, Ali Khamenei, also downplayed the US strikes, claiming Trump had exaggerated their impact. Now, the US strikes drew a mixed international reaction, highlighting the deep divisions on how to manage the Iranian nuclear question and regional stability. From the Israelis, of course, not surprisingly, they lauded the US action. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised President Trump for acting with a lot of strength, and Israeli President Isaac Herzog called it a moment when the principles of liberty, responsibility, and security have triumphed. Other organizations and countries like the UN, the UK, Germany, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia expressed concern and called for de-escalation and a return to diplomacy. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres was gravely alarmed, warning of catastrophic consequences. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer urged Iran to return to the negotiation table. For countries like Russia and China, he strongly condemned the US strikes as a violation of international law. The Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps vowed regrettable responses and warned that US military bases in the region had doubled their vulnerability. We're going to see how that plays out in the coming days, weeks, months, and years perhaps. So at this point, let us put our thoughts back together. The real reason Donald Trump bombed Iran was a complex interplay of perceived nuclear threats. He desired to deter aggression and protect allies, and they believed that a decisive military blow would resolve the long-standing standoff. Whether these strikes achieve their ultimate goal or merely reset the stage for future confrontations remains a question that only time will answer. The repercussions of these actions will undoubtedly reverberate through the Middle East and beyond for years to come. This is Fix Africa News Network. Please remember to subscribe if you've not. Like, leave us a comment below. Do you agree with these reasons why the US bombed Iran or not? Stay tuned, stay informed, stay healthy.